It's a scene we all know too well. Waiting in a line at a drive-thru, thinking about what to order, maybe listening to some music. For Megan Kellerman, this familiar scenario turned deadly in a matter of seconds. At 25 years old, her life was taken in a shocking act of violence at a Taco Bell drive-thru, leaving everyone who knew her and even those who didn't asking how this could happen. How did a routine trip to Taco Bell end in such tragedy? What happened that night? And why did Megan have to pay the ultimate price? Welcome back, everyone, to True Crime Desk. I'm Richard, and today I'm here with my sister and co-host, Maria. So how's it going?
Hey, okay, how you doing?
Good. So today we're going to be going over the Megan Kellerman case, and this is something that just happened a few days ago. And so it's a relatively new case. I'm sure there's going to be updates and more info, but when I saw it, I thought I definitely want to do a video and talk about where we are at this point. It's very tragic, and I definitely want to get the word out there, and I definitely want to get her name out there because unfortunately was a special lady. So you are somewhat familiar with this at this point, right?
Yes, I am, and it's very tragic. It's hard to believe that sometimes this happened in the drive-thru of a Taco Bell.
Right, exactly. So let's get into this. All right, so Megan Kellerman was 25 years old, and she lived in Ohio. And so the incident happened at a Taco Bell, as you mentioned, Taco Bell drive-thru, and it was in the city of Stowe, S-T-O-W, Ohio. So what do you think about that? It's pretty crazy, huh?
It is crazy. You can't even go get yourself something to eat without worrying about your safety.
Yeah, I know, it's pretty bad. So Megan was she was really smart. You know, she had all that, she's well educated. So I know she had just graduated, so it's pretty sad that, she did all that.
Yeah, she had 2 degrees, I believe, and she was very smart, and she loved children. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so as you mentioned, Megan was very intelligent. She graduated from Cleveland State University this past May with a master's degree in business administration. And she also had a bachelor's degree in finance and finance management. So as we said, she is a very intelligent girl. She just graduated in May with a master's. Looking forward to her future, all that work it takes to get that done, and then some piece of garbage thinks he can just take her life away for her. At this point, no reason. And there's never a reason for it, but I mean, literally nothing, for nothing.
Right. Nobody really knows why. I mean, I don't think we'll ever know why. You can assume, but just don't know.
Yeah, because she, what we do know at this point is that she was sitting in the drive-thru at Taco Bell, and witnesses are saying that a man behind her was honking and kept honking over and over again, was very aggressive. Now, I thought initially that maybe she had cut him off in the line and got in there just before him. Nobody has mentioned that happened. But like I said, this is ongoing, so we're not really sure. But most people are saying that he thinks that they felt that she was taking too long. That's what was bothering him. And so he was honking, and then he eventually rammed her car. And so when he rammed her car, he got upset and, he hurt her.
Yeah, one thing I agree with you as well. Sorry about that. One thing I agree with you as well is that I was thinking the same thing. Maybe she cut in front of him, not realizing that she did, not on purpose, but did. And it was told that he was honking his horn and rammed her in from the back, and then she had yelled into the actual speaker of the Taco Bell drive-through for someone to call the police because she had just been rammed from behind.
Right. Yeah. So we'll go over more on the incident in a little more detail in a minute, but that's basically where we are at this point. Now, she also volunteered. It says she was a volunteer coach for Girls on the Run, Northeast Ohio, which promotes running and exercise for elementary school age girls. And the girls she coached were between the 3rd grade and the 5th grade. And she was very well liked. The girls liked her a lot, and so she was giving back as well. So that's pretty impressive because she's going to school to get a master's.
Correct.
So that's a lot of time, a lot of studying, and yet she still was not only able but she was helping these girls. So,
Right.
and it's really sad.
Yeah, she took her time to help others and on top of all of her schoolwork, and that is just impressive, very impressive.
Yeah. So, like I said, this is ongoing. So, sure, things are going to change, and so we're going to find out more about the scumbag that hurt her, that Kate her. I'm sure we'll find out more, but I'm gonna go a basic rundown of where we are at this point. And so, if it gets eventually, if there is more info that comes out that's relevant and that we want to talk about, we'll do an update on this. But I'm gonna go over where we're at this point. Now, on Wednesday, August 14, 2024, she went to a local Taco Bell and she brought her dog with her. So just keep that in mind, her dog was with her. It says at about 7:30 p.m., she drove to the drive-thru and she pulled in front of another car. And in a drive-thru, directly behind her, Megan, there was a man named Jason Williams. His name is. I call him scumbag. So it says Williams began honking. He began honking his horn repeatedly, eventually ramming her car, ramming her car with his car. It said, and Megan immediately called out to the Taco Bell employee, asking him to call 911. And she said that her vehicle had just been rammed. Now it says after Williams had rammed her car, he got out of his car and walked up to her window, and then he proceeded to shoot her in the neck twice. And then after shooting her, he went over and committed self-harm in the drive-thru in front of a lot of witnesses. There was a lot of people that saw that. So it was very tragic. There's some 911 calls where they're actually describing it, and one lady was like losing her mind because it's something you never expect to see and you never can unsee. So that's pretty much where we are at this point. Pretty much what we know. It's just ridiculous, unprovoked, unnecessary.
It's horrific. I mean, you can't even go get yourself something to eat. And like you said, mentioned, she had her dog with her, and she must have been horrified. She must have been so scared, and it's very sad. And then also, like you mentioned, the bystanders seeing and calling 911, and the girl, explaining what she's seen, and which I found weird and odd that the 911 person asked her, like details, like what did they look like? What did it look like? And it's like for her to explain what she saw was to me a little odd. Um, but I feel horrible for her family and all of her friends and all the girls she worked with, and so tragic.
I didn't hear that she asked what it looked like. I mean, maybe she did. I did hear of it, and I thought she was asking if they're still there. Did they leave? And obviously, if she listened to what she said, they're not going anywhere.
Right.
But they do try to ask a lot of. See, the minute those calls go in, and they get the basic info, they're almost immediately sending rescue or law enforcement, and then they try to get the info. And you'll have on the phone a lot of people say, "Well, just send him. Stop talking. Stop talking to me and send him." Well, they almost immediately do that, and so they're on their way, and they're talking to you as a separate thing. They're just trying to get more info. Because the more info they have, the more they can put out to the law enforcement. They know what they're walking into.
That makes
So
sense.
that's basically the way it works. So it might seem tedious sometimes. It might seem cold, but they do it for a living, and they have to try to stay professional. But that's got to be. Speaking of that, that's a tough job to have to listen to that crap all the time.
I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it either. No. I feel sorry for the people that seen, actually seen what happened, because that's going to be a nightmare in their brain forever. And then I don't know if you're aware of this, but she was on the phone with her father when.
No, I didn't know that.
Yes, she was on the phone with her father. She had called her father right away after she was rammed, and he was actually on the phone when the incident happened to her. And when the police officers showed up, oh, it makes me sad. When the police officers showed up, he was still on the phone. And he was asking them, what's going on, and they said, well, we need you to hang up, or we're working on it. And he's like, I'm heading there right now. It broke my heart. It broke my heart. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't hear that. Like I said, it's ongoing. I got pretty much the info that I cut off the local news and everything, because it's really fresh.
Yeah.
And I actually didn't hear that. So like I said, it's constantly changing. They did talk to an FBI, former FBI agent, and she was gorgeous, by the way, but that's besides the point. And she was saying that there could be a lot of things that are going to happen. She could have been on her phone at the time. She could have been this and that. So she even had mentioned that. So like I said, when it initially happened they didn't mention that. They might not have known that. So I didn't. I definitely did not know that.
Yeah.
That's even makes it even more. It makes it even sadder.
Yes. Yes. And
Yeah.
then
So
like you mentioned, the dog was in the car, so then they right away the officers got the dog out of the car and make sure the dog was okay and everything. You couldn't really see from the videos what the dog even looked like or anything because they had a lot of it blocked,
right.
obviously.
Yeah, they had the
Yeah.
body cam blurred out.
Yeah. But that's
Now
that's no.
he does have a criminal history we know about. I want to go over that real quick, and then we can continue. It says Jason was arrested March 26th of this year for DUI, driving under the influence. And it said his blood alcohol content was at 0.19 at the time. And so that actually, that's 3 times the limit.
Yes, I seen
Now,
that as well.
right.
They
And
the
it
offer.
says,
Oh, go ahead.
he had in his truck a near empty bottle of Captain Morgan,
Mm.
and he had a loaded Glock 40. And the gun was reported stolen by him. So he was charged and got bail and was let out, which seems to happen all the time now. It's like all they do is he had an unregistered firearm. He had an illegal firearm that he stole. And the drunk part's certain thing they don't, but the firearm itself. And then, of course, we know for a fact, I can tell you for sure they took it. So he ended up getting another one. But yeah, he was out on bail. So this was like in March. So this is shortly before that.
Right. And from my understanding from the video, when he was pulled over by the officer for that DUI, he was driving down the wrong side of the road.
Yep.
He wouldn't answer questions correctly. You could tell he wasn't all there, and then he wouldn't do the breathalyzer. He refused to do
Right.
that as well.
That's
Um,
correct.
it's well, they also mentioned Richard that he had stolen watches too. Did you notice that he had two on one on each
Nope.
arm, and they mentioned he had stolen watches as well as the gun. Yeah,
Yeah, like I said, that's the second thing that you mentioned that I had no idea.
yeah,
Like I said, it's changing. We're learning more as it goes along, obviously, because the more they're going to look in his background, they're going to, try to come up with some kind of reason. There is no reason, and I mean, you're never going to find one that's satisfactory because it's ridiculous. But we'll probably find out more. Maybe she did pull in front of him just before. Maybe that will come out. Um, did he say something to her? At this point, I don't know that he even said anything to her. Her being on the phone with her dad, something I didn't know.
yeah.
So there's gonna be more that comes out. But if there's little bits and pieces, it might do a quick little update, maybe in a short or something. But if it's more substantial and it's very important, or we think it's important, we'll do an update video on it. But if it's just some simple things here and there, we'll probably do an update, maybe in a short or something like that. So, like I said, it's pretty fresh, but it's very, very sad because we all go to Taco Bell. I try to not to now. I'm trying to lose weight. I need to, but we've all been in Taco. We all drive. It doesn't matter if it's Taco Bell. It's a drive-through.
Right.
The drive-through.
Yeah, yeah. You can't even go out and get something to eat and have a nice night without worrying about your surroundings. So, I mean, everybody, you really do need to watch your surroundings and watch your back because it's getting pretty volatile out there.
One thing was mentioned by the FBI agent that I found very helpful, and I'll repeat it here because it was very helpful. Is that the drive-through that she was in? It was a typical drive-through where you're like boxed in somewhat, but there was also a curb to the side where you could get to, and then it was like a little driveway. So technically, she could have went over that, or she could have got out of there a little bit. And not blaming her, but to get that clear, I'm not blaming her. I'm just saying that if you ever are in that situation, and especially if someone rams your car because they're damaging their own car, that's pretty extreme. If there is any way that you can drive over a curb, if it does a little damage to your car or whatever, is to just get out of there. Just get out of there if you can. It's the smartest thing to do because people are very unpredictable nowadays. And like I said, I'm not blaming her whatsoever. I'm just trying to help maybe somebody in the future is if somebody's going to ram into your car, it's just going to get worse from there.
Right. You don't know what they're going to do. If they have that mentality that they're going to do something like that. I think this poor girl, it was so shocked that she didn't know what
Quick.
the heck happened. And
That's right.
and honestly, I don't know if there was someone in front of her as well. I don't know.
Right.
But it's true. I agree with you, Richard, that if something ever happens like that, Don't worry about, oh my gosh, I need to call, someone hit my car. No, get the heck out of there, call the police, get away from that person. And yeah, I agree 100%.
All right, guys. So that's where we're going to leave this one. It is an ongoing case. So I'm sure there's going to be updates and stuff like that. Like I said, I'll let you know if there's any big updates or even some small ones. I might do a short or something like that. But so it's pretty sad. I just wanted to get it out there. I want to make sure her story was told and you guys are really aware of what's going on around you. So do you have anything else?
Just watch your surroundings, everybody, and take care.
I agree. So with that being said, stay safe, stay curious, and remember to always mind your surroundings. Bye.
Bye.